Hello! Okay, so this is going to be a video talking about this, Gotenks' EX Beyblade, and using it to mix up your opponent. I personally think I've been underutilizing this as a tool. Recently I've been trying to experiment with using this to mix people. Okay, so how do you use this to mix someone? It's actually super easy and intuitive. You Beyblade and you either go to the back of your opponent, or you go to the front of them, and make it look like you're going to the back. Now, while the concept of this is super simple, the actual execution of it requires you to be a little bit precise. And that's for two reasons. The first, I'll show you guys, I have the training dummy set to guard first hit only. This means if I do one move and then another move, it'll get hit if it's not a true block string. Now, you cannot, when you're trying to mix someone, just hug their body. Because if there's no gap here, this is not going to be a cross-up. You'll see there is no gap when I'm doing this. I'm going as close to them as I can. So, to use this to mix someone effectively, you actually have to make it so that you leave a small gap. That way they're not going to have cross-up protection, and they're going to actually have to switch their blocking to the other side. Same thing if you want to do same side, you need to make it so where there's a small gap. But this is where it gets dangerous, because this move is also 2H'able. And this is where the precision comes in, because in order to use this move effectively to mix someone, you have to make the gap that you create anywhere from 1 to 3 frames. If you don't make the gap, then they're not going to get mixed. And if you make the gap 4 frames or more, then they're going to be able to 2H you. Now, there is some other sneaky stuff you can do, like you can just bait out 2H's, just because Gotenks is like so mobile with this move. And you can like just back off and beam. And for a really good punish, you can back off and then do heavy miracle punches, and you can fucking TOD them. But in order to do those, you're sacrificing your actual mix-up. You can just get your mix-up and make it too tight for them to punish. Now, the extra hard part comes in where different characters obviously have different sizes, right? So getting this on like GT Goku is gonna require you to do something different than getting this on like Z Broly. So this is gonna require a lot of either labbing or practicing and failing, or maybe you're just like a god and you can fucking see the hurt boxes with your matrix vision and you can just do it naturally with every single character. But the possibility for strong mix does exist. Now, there's more counterplay than just that, right? Characters have DPs and level 3s. So if someone guesses right, then they can still just hit you out of it with a frame 1 reversal if they guess the correct side, right? But that's not that big of a deal. It is, obviously, but that's for like anything like this. If they guess correctly, they can swing back at you. But that's not sacrificing the mix-up. The reason I have Gogeta 4 on screen is because I want to talk about characters that have like very specific inputs that would beat this, like down inputs. Now, if you've seen my other video where I talk about beating Gogeta 4's DP on Oki, you would know that this is not too difficult to fix. Gotenks is actually so mobile, you can get a mix and still afterwards weave out of the way to make sure you don't get DP'd. Same thing with same side, although it can be a little more difficult to tell that it's hitting. But if you go up and then down back, you'll just dodge out of the way of a move like this. Now, make sure when you're fighting this, you don't loop around to do a same side. Otherwise, you will not be able to dodge out of the way because you're accelerating too quickly towards Gogeta 4 to reverse your momentum. It's much better to do when you go up and then back and try to hit same side like that. Same thing with Master Roshi. He has this, his 2-2-H. Crazy fucking move, by the way. Dude, it blows my mind. This shit beats lows, overhead, and command grabs. Dude, and he has a guard point reversal and a 4-frame reversal. He can do his... Dude, this shit's crazy though. Anyway, with Roshi, now, maybe I'm just bad. I don't think you can do this fast enough to beat his thing. It's just like so fast, you know? But you can obviously still bait it. And again, if you do bait something like this and do punches, you can literally kill someone. Like, they're actually dead. So unfortunately, Can't do it against Roshi. Meaning you cannot do this against the fucking 0.01% people that play Roshi. But in most other cases, you're gonna be fine. Fuck, dude, what a character, bro. Okay, well, with all that being said, if you do get a hit, how are you gonna combo off of this? That really depends on if you have assists or not. If you do have assists, then it's really easy. You can go into punches and call your assist and combo from there. Or you can go into Die Missile Barrage. This can be useful for if your assist is still recharging and you just need a little bit more time before you can call it again. You can do that instead and it'll buy you a little more time. But let's say I either don't have assists or I don't want to use assists. Well, this really depends on where you are on screen and which side you hit with. If you're close enough to the corner and you do your same side, it's really easy. You just get your bread and butter corner combo. Likewise, same thing for if you're in the corner, just the situations are reversed. If you do cross up, then you get your corner combo. But if you're not fortunate enough to have that, you just do have to vanish. And that can make this a little bit costly because you have to spend an EX bar and then another bar for vanish. But I mean, if you get a hit, then it can be the difference between you winning and losing. But if you don't have any meter or any resources, you can't get very much damage off of this. The actual maximum you can get is going up and doing beam after this. That does about 20,000 points of damage, which is like useful that you can do anything, but you're much better off if you have meter you can burn or if you have assist you can burn. Personally, I suggest the best is calling an assist. Or even, honestly, if you spark for this, it's actually not the worst thing in the world because you're giving yourself the opportunity to go into Ghost Oki right afterwards, which is amazing, right? If you do want to do this, you just have to make sure you spark before the final hit connects. Otherwise, it'll use up your smash property and you won't be able to knock down here. But other than that, I honestly think if you don't have any assists available, this is a very valid option. And lastly, I just want to talk about your options if they block the mix, or if you mess it up and then you're just doing EX Beyblade on them. You have a few options. One is just going into your EX punches. If you go into EX punches after EX Beyblade, there is not a big enough gap for you to be 2H. You'll see Gogeta is set to 2H, and I'll be like, oh no, I messed up. It's okay, I can still go into punches. Hi, Future Adam. I just wanted to say that this can be a little inconsistent. There are times where you might do punches after EX Beyblade, and you will actually create a large enough gap to get 2H. For this, I suggest either canceling into punches at the very start of your EX Beyblade, or at the very end of your EX Beyblade, at like the last possible moment. Because there have been times where I've been 2H'd out of this. Same thing, if you don't have extra meter, you can go into light punches and then call an assist. Or if you just want to do that anyway, you can do that anyway. Also, if you don't have any meter, you can try to go into medium punches, because this is also plus on block. But this is a lot more risky because they can 2H this. But if you want to just do it, you can do it. You can also, and I don't personally know how effective this is yet, you can just cancel with Shout, and this is super fast. Like, and combined with the fact that this move lasts so long, and you can Shout at any point, it can just be useful to mix up your timing of when you cancel out of it using Shout. This is a more experimental option. You can try it if you want. I am experimenting with it right now, but the main ones I would suggest are EX punches or medium punches into an assist. There's one more option, and I'll show you it for a character like Gogeta. For characters with DPs, or level 3s in general, since there is technically a gap, the DP will beat your EX punches, it'll beat your light punches. You can still just call an assist after doing this and be safe like that, but you can also use Shout Cancel to bait this. Now, Shout Cancel does lose to just them like mashing because it is -8, but I'd say most of the time people aren't going to be mashing on this because they'd probably expect you to go into punches or EX punches. But yeah, you can do this to beat out DPs and like level 3s. Or if you want to be really safe, sometimes it can just be useful to peel off and cancel this manually. But let me tell you what you can't do. Really important, you cannot just let this move rock. If you let it complete, it is -16, which means you're gonna get hit by a medium scaled starter and probably explode. You do need to cancel this into something, even if it's just shout cancel, or if you want to beam someone from a distance, you have to do something. You can't just let the move rock. And here's how to say fuck you to Roshi.